Good morning, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute to give everybody a chance to get in. Welcome, everyone, to the March Community Cafe. Our topic today will be intellectual and developmental disabilities. Thank you all for joining us. Please be aware we are making a recording of this, so if you're unable to stay on for the entire time, feel free to check out our YouTube page. In a couple of days, it will be posted. With that, we'll get started. Our first speaker today is from ECAC, and it's Miss Kim Arrow.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me today. I'm going to go ahead and share my presentation. Okay, can everybody see? We're good. All right. So as Jerry said, my name is Kim Arrow. I am with ECAC, but I'm also a parent of a child with a disability. Almost everybody who works at ECAC, if you didn't know, is a parent of a child with a disability. So I'm just going to give you a little background about what we do and who we are and what services we may be able to provide to your clients. So we are parents of children with disabilities who support other parents of children with disabilities, ages birth through 26. So we also provide support to the professionals in the community who support that population. We have a variety of services, but two of our main ones are our Parent Training and Information Center. We are the state Parent Training and Information Center. If you know what that is, if a student has an IEP, at the bottom of their IEP, it has a statement that says, for further support, you can contact ECAC, the Parent Training and Information Center. So we do provide services across the state. We provide individual assistance. We work with DPI and other organizations to create materials and fact sheets, different ways to support families. We have webinars and workshops that we do across the state. We also do a lot virtually to make it convenient for everyone, but we do go to different areas in the state and present those. And then we have a lot of youth and family engagement opportunities as well. And then through our Family to Family Health and Information Center, our F2F grant, we provide individual assistance as well and creation of materials and webinar and workshops, but that's centered more around those health and human services type programs that are in the community, helping our clients that reach out to us make sure that they have all of the support that they need. So kind of making those connections and pointing them into the right direction of those services, and even helping them navigate those processes, because sometimes that can be difficult. So we really, we don't just provide information and send them out, out the door on their own. We really help them. Even preparing like for an IEP session, we will help coach and make sure that that parent is ready to go in and ask for the things that they want to ask for, to advocate for their child, to make sure that they are prepared to do that. And in some cases, our parent trainers will go to the IEP meetings with them. We have a lot of various grant partnerships, funding partnerships that make our programs possible. So this is kind of a view of all of them. I actually work directly with the Achieve program. We are a transition program for pre-employment transition services. And so what we do is we partner with schools, brick and mortar schools or virtual schools, and we provide we work with them and we contract with EIPD to provide those pre-ed services to those students in the classrooms. We also provide that same service for students who are homeschooled or who don't have access to that pre-eds program in their schools through the day by offering evening programs for those students. So this is a fairly new program, and we're proud of it. It's growing. We just presented at the transition conference last week, and we're getting a lot of good feedback. So we are happy to be able to provide that, because and being virtual helps us also to reach some of those areas that it's difficult to reach otherwise. So we're working to grow that program. But those are just a couple of the funding partnerships that we have. We do have this fact sheet on our website, but this is just it's a lot of words. I'm looking at it right now. That's a lot of words. This just gives you really an understanding of all that we do and all that we don't do. So like I mentioned, we do provide training and information and support. We do serve all 100 counties in North Carolina. And one of the things that I think is very special about us is that everything we do is at no cost to the families. We will work with them. Like I said, even go sometimes to the IEP meetings. That's at no cost. The pre-ed services that we provide through the Achieve program, that's at no cost. If there is something, like sometimes we have legal services that our clients may need, or we may suggest, and we refer to organizations that also do that without cost. So any referral that we make is not going to cost the parents anything. We also, one of the things that I really love is, just from a personal perspective, we provide youth. So we're supporting the families, the parents in advocating for their children. But we also provide support to youth who are learning to advocate for themselves, because at some point they're going to be adults and they're going to need those skills. So we have a program that's called the Junior Youth Advisory Team for ages 10 to 13, and then the Youth Advisory Team is for 14 to 26. My son has participated in both of those. So just from a personal perspective, I can't say enough wonderful things about those programs. It has given him confidence. It has given him a voice. They go around the state and present. They participate in panels and talk about their disability and their journey. And he's spoken to parents. He's spoken to teachers. Just kind of to help them better understand and recognize the voices of our youth with disabilities. They also participated in a self-advocacy video, which was shared nationwide. So we have a lot of good that we're doing with that population, and trying to support them in becoming advocates for themselves. So I love that. I can't say enough great things about those programs. If you're interested in any of the webinars that we do, all of that is on our website. We have recordings of webinars on our website. We also have trainings that are available where we can either do it virtually or we can come to a location and provide these workshops. Sometimes this is parent specific, but we also do professional training. I've gone into schools before. I know we have Tool Time Tuesdays, which is a weekly virtual session that we'll do usually at 12 o'clock on Tuesdays, different topics each time. So those are often geared towards both parents, but also professionals. But if there's a specific need that you have, if you want us to come in and speak, we are happy to do that. We have a wealth of knowledge. I think about these parent trainers. I am not one of the parent trainers. I, again, work for the Achieve program, but they're phenomenal. The parent trainers are phenomenal. They have such a wealth of knowledge in all areas. So if you ever need that, we have people available who can provide that. The upcoming sessions that we have, if you're interested, we do have a Ways to Adulthood training coming up. This one is self-paced, and this is for, again, parents and professionals. We do have a live version that's going to happen in May. I will actually be doing that one. That'll show up on our website when the time gets closer, but these are the ones that are more immediate. And then we also have a free webinar that's available as well. If you want to know about these, just get on the mailing list for upcoming events or our newsletters. There's a spot on the website where you can join our mailing list. So that would be a great way. Also, following our Facebook page is a really great way of finding all of that information out about what's coming and what we provide and what we can do to help. So I thank you for your time today and letting me present. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I think somebody did put in the chat our website. Thank you for that, Amber. Our website is great. We have a lot of resources there they're super easy. You can just download or share out. Our fact sheets are all there. Like I said, we have a lot of videos available. We have a new IEP series for parents who are navigating that IEP process, where they can kind of watch it and know what to expect and kind of help them understand that process a little bit better. So all of that is available on our website.
Thank you so much, Kim. Are there any questions for Kim? Thank you so much. I actually have the pleasure of working with Kim with the local Special Olympics. Her family's heavily involved in that. Thank you so much again, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Our next speaker is Kelly with the UP at Western Carolina University program. And Kelly, I'm going to turn it over to you to share your screen.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I see some familiar faces, so that's good. We're over in the western part of the state in Cullowhee, North Carolina, so you can see behind me how awesome it looks on our campus. I try to promote our beautiful mountains. They're a little smoky right now with all the fires, but hopefully we can show you some of Western today in the next few minutes. I also don't want to just channel this whole thing to our program. There are national movements going on with inclusive post-secondary education for young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So if you haven't checked out thinkcollege.net, thinkcollege.net, that is actually a national database of college searches to say that college is possible for individuals with intellectual disabilities. So that is a database of about 363 programs across our United States that people can shop around and look for the best program or what they need. So pretty cool to see that. So thinkcollege.net is a good resource, but we will hone into some North Carolina programs. Our community colleges are doing some great things for continuing after high school and some of the options for intellectual disability. We have 15 programs that are community college-based programs through some of our state legislative funding. We have some inclusive post-secondary ed programs near Greensboro. We got some in Wilmington now. We've got some, so it's exciting times near Appalachian State University. So just wanted to put in a plug for several different programs coming about from the beach to the mountains before I get started. So beach to the mountains, we're going to kind of hone into the mountain area. Little bit more about our program. So a lot of people are wondering what the UP program is. We are the only pretty much 2-year university program in the state. Most of them are 4-year programs now. We have not found data to say 2 versus 4 years makes a huge difference quite yet. So we are still a 2-year program. We are focused on our students living on campus. They work on and off campus with their jobs. They also attend and audit college courses with the college students. So I'm not cool enough to get to teach the students in their classes. They go to all the other classes with their peers. So that takes a village of people. We have about 200 volunteers, student supports. The student supports surround and support our students as they need to for the 12 students that we have. So we started out as a very small program with one student, didn't know what we were doing, had no money, but we wanted to build the program within our university system. And so that's kind of what we did. Our university came on board. We found ways to adapt and modify a dorm room to where we could lift somebody in a wheelchair out of bed and do some showering and all the other things that he needed. So we started out small and really put that one individual into every fabric of the college environment. He was a great trailblazer, and then we were able to increase our students. And we've been around since 2007, so we're one of those programs. We've learned and we've changed, but we've also stuck to some of our values, which is being a fully inclusive program. Also making sure that our students live in dorms with other college students in the residence halls. We also make sure that we have a lot of self-determination, so our students are leading their own person-centered planning meetings. They're reviewing their goals. They invite people to those meetings monthly. And so there's a lot of different things that we have valued with competitive integrated employment. So our students are doing task and work that's the same as everybody else. So there's lots of different things that we still value, and we've changed a lot, but we've also kept a lot of those pillars about our mission and our program. We started small. We're still kind of small, but we are considered with accreditation standards to be a medium-sized program with 12 students that we have. So we can take up to 12 students. That means that they might be in a cohort. So it might be, 5 or 6 returning students and 5 or 6 new students each fall. So there is an admission process which we'll cover. And our university has picked up a lot of funding that we do, but we also have a lot of braided funding where we can use some of the Medicaid services that some students have. And so I'll talk about kind of how that works as well. Nicely, we are also the first accredited program in the country, which was big to put Cullowhee on the map. And we were able to inform that process. So that was a pretty big deal in May 2023, because we had a lot of self-study, a lot of site visits, and then looking at the quality of these programs, because you'll find there's a lot of programs out there, but really advancing the quality of these programs is important as we move in the field towards that. So a lot of people ask us about our admission requirements, and most people are like, well, I don't know if I can get in there. There's not many slots available, or there's not many people. I tell everybody, go ahead and apply. It's each year is different. We have an admissions steering committee that's made up of 30 to 40 people in the university. So I don't decide this, thank goodness, because that would be really hard. So all the applications are reviewed with the admission steering committee based on these admission requirements, making sure that we're looking at the age range because they're in college dorms, looking at 18 to 25-ish. COVID has allowed us to extend a few age brackets with that lately with our admission steering committee, but typically looking for same age peers in the dorms. So that's why that age is there. We do have to have a documented intellectual disability. We don't like IQ, but based on the federal definition, we have to go with that because our students are also eligible for FAFSA, so Pell Grant and Work Study, because we're an approved comprehensive transition program. So out of the state of North Carolina, there's only 3 that are approved CTPs to be able to accept FAFSA for students to be getting some support for college cost for the program. Also, we want to make sure that students who could meet general admission requirements to the university, that they do so, because we want them to go that path if at all possible. So the other big things is we work with our families in this transition. We want them to be supportive. We also want to make sure that the family is not pushing the student to come to college, because that can be very short-lived the first few months they come in, and then all the new wears off, and then they're like, oh my, I don't like this. I'm not motivated to be here. So we also have a try-on camp experience where they can try on college. That is part of our admission process right now. We've talked about some more summer camps just to kind of let them see what college is like. All that's through legal and lots of different things we have to do if we have minors on campus, so they would have to be 18 or older. So we're looking at some of those opportunities as well. We are looking that they work outside of when they graduate differently, maybe than when they came in. So working on some of those behaviors, social skills, and being able to work and live as independently as possible after graduation. So those are kind of things that we work on during their 4 semesters there. We do also want to make sure they're able to be unsupervised at night. We do not sit up and watch them sleep. They are in college dorms. And so it's really important that everybody kind of knows that up front, as well as knowing that they manage their own medications as well. So we have had students who are verbal, nonverbal, using AAC, physical needs, different kinds of things. But as long as they can communicate their wants and needs, that's usually very helpful for us. So we've worked with a wide range of students. This is our admission timeline. I'm not going to go over it in huge detail just to save time, but the biggest thing is completing the FAFSA for sure, because that is the first step for any other connections through VR, which is now EIPD, because they also can sponsor or support some of our students in the college cost, room and board, meal plan, lots of different ways. Some of VR's also bought some laptops for some of our students, so it just depends on the counselor and the county that they're in, but we do encourage filling out that FAFSA for a lot of reasons. We do have 4 open houses, 2 are in the fall, 2 are in the spring, so we encourage people to come see us. Some people don't think college is possible until they come really see our campus and see what it's like at an open house. Then you can see the rest of the timeline. That's usually our admission timeline for after applications are due, but December 1st is our deadline. We've already accepted all of our fall 2025 students, and we've already had our orientation camp. So again, it's really important you communicate with families that December 1st is the deadline for the following fall semester. So December 1st, 2025 would be for fall 2026 applicants. So that's really important. And then we try on college, and then they all move in August of that next year. So it's a long process, but it's very important that they get that opportunity to try on college as part of the admission process. We focus on 5 areas. I'm not going to read these to you, but I'll give you examples. The course auditing, we're using the course catalog. So our students are planning backwards. So they have a roadmap, and we look at their roadmap that they're doing to see what they want to do 2 years after the program. And so our courses are aligned with their personal interest. It's also aligned with their career goals. So, common classes they might take are communication classes or first aid and safety classes or different things like that. But we don't have a set list of classes because we use the course catalog for that based on their career choice. We also work on the self-determination and anything else they want to work on under personal development. We go out in the community and give back to the community, as well as accessing our public transportation systems, volunteering at a lot of different events and exploring their community. We have them working 10 hours on or off campus in a variety of jobs. We've had 115 employers that we've worked with since we've been there. Classes, we've been in over 600 classes. So they're not all in one room all day long. They are out and about doing their thing. They also get to have fun. So that's that social participation and learning, being able to be in Student Government Association or the 300 plus, 400 plus clubs that we have on campus. So they're able to do a lot of that. They have a huge basketball game that they're getting ready to play on Thursday. So it's a pretty big deal in the Ramsey Center. So once they have all those 5 areas and they have a certain amount of hours, once they finish in 2 years, we're looking at their goals, and we're looking at that they've not just sit in their room to play Xbox the whole time, because they can do that at home, right? And so we're looking to make sure that they've really involved themselves in their community, worked in those 5 areas that we talked about, and that they've reached their goals for their individual plan for college participation at 80%. So again, we have those monthly PCP meetings, person-centered planning meetings, where we look at their goals, we look at fading support, we look at lots of different things, and we have employers and faculty members and their families involved in some of those and the supports that work with them. Once they've done all that, they're recommended for satisfactory progress to our Department of Educational Outreach or Office of Educational Outreach, who actually awards the certificate, and then they walk across stage at graduation powerfully. If we weren't an inclusive program, we wouldn't be walking at graduation, because 3,000 students signed a petition, because I got told no. So 3,000 students signed a petition. We had 167 people at a forum who said, if they don't get to walk, I'm not walking. So our administration had to listen to that. So that was a pretty powerful moment. another powerful moment for inclusive practices is the hurricane. So we lost contact for 4 days, and if it wasn't a student-led supported program, our students didn't have any support for 4 days from us, but they were just fine after those 4 days that we checked on them, and they were living it up in the university center, doing what they were doing with all other college students. So that was pretty powerful. So again, it's an inclusive program as you're shopping around. Some are more inclusive than others. So what do our students do? They do everything everybody else does on campus. The only time I'm kind of cool is like last Thursday when I took them to the NCDCDT conference. They don't want to hang out with me on the college campus, but we do get to take them to study abroad and to also professional conferences. They're doing everything everybody else is doing, which is pretty cool. A lot of people ask us questions about how we do the Medicaid services, so I wanted to hit on that a little bit. If somebody already has services, we can work. We have partnered with Abound. We can partner with other providers, but we hire our student supports to be able to work on those goals with the students. And so they all we collaborate on the goals so that we can have some of the same goals. But Abound is our service provider partner that we use, and we work with all the other LME MCOs across our state when our students are in state to see if we can help them get services or navigate that process. So our ultimate goal is that they also have those services secured so they can take it with them when they finish the program. So that's been pretty powerful to see our students get their own place, have their own jobs, and doing what they want to do. So again, we partner with all the LME MCOs. Abound is our service provider at the moment, and they can kind of get those services, bring them with them or get them while they're there, and then take them with them when they leave. So we try to help them navigate that tedious process with our partners. Check us out online. We do have Instagram. I don't do our Instagram, our students do, so you'll never know what's going to be posted there. It's real fun. Our Facebook page is really helpful. Our website is also here. We have a YouTube channel as well. So check us out so you can see some parent perspectives. You can see student perspectives. You can contact us again on the website, or contact information for each of us are listed below. I'm the director of the program. Alex is our coordinator. Susan helps with jobs and administrative, so you'll probably get her if you call. And Evelyn is one of our graduate assistants right now. So she stayed with us from her undergrad to her grad. So we have a lot of students that help us in the office, but this is our small and mighty team of who you would contact if you had some questions. So I want to make sure y'all have that. And I think that's it. So I'll stop sharing and see if y'all have any questions. I did not pay attention in the chat, but hopefully you have my contact information. Yes, thank you, Amber. And our website is there. So I'll open it up if y'all have questions, or turn it back over to Jerry.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I definitely will be reaching out to you, hopefully to come and speak at our event we've got coming up in August. I think that would be a perfect topic. And I love how you opened with, if the person's eligible to be in the program, in the Western Carolina program, that they will go to that instead. I love that. And I love the inclusiveness and the freedom the individuals have there. Are there any questions for Kelly? Amani, I see your hands raised.
Yes, I enjoyed learning about this program. I wanted to know, what was the program you mentioned? You said it was 2 near Greensboro.
So there's the Integrated Community Studies program. It used to be called Beyond Academics. Lisa Pluff is the director there. And she has a couple of staff as well. We try to promote what we have in North Carolina as much as we can. And our goal, when we first started, we were the only real program that and Beyond Academics at UNC Greensboro. And so we started Appalachian's program. We had some grant money, and we really are not trying to inundate any of our college campuses with a bunch of people. We try to be proportional to the 0.1% for intellectual disability. So if we have, for example, 12,000 students, our goal is to have 0.1% of that at 12 students. And so that's kind of our mindset statewide, is that we provide those opportunities. to try to be as equal, so that they have more opportunities if they want to have a residential college program, or they want to go to a community college and then transfer to us. So we're trying to parallel that a lot with what's going on for every college student in the state. So there's a lot of state backing right now and funding on inclusive post-secondary ed. So I hope you're going to find with the 25 programs you see in North Carolina that there's some options out there for a lot of students, and encourage them to visit at all the open houses because every program is not the same. It might be that somebody needs a more kind of contained situation, and that's okay. If somebody wants the fully inclusive, I would send them our direction for sure. So lots of different opportunities that we're trying to set up across our state for students with IDD.
Jerry,
Definitely, thank you.
I have a question as well. Thank you. Enjoy. I have a child with learning disabilities, and she is 18, getting ready to
Oh.
start that process. And my question, and me being hesitant about her going on, just being a parent. But my question is, what type of fields do the children usually go into? What paths do they usually take?
Yeah. So I have a couple of, we have had quite a few graduates, but just some of them are their own business persons. So one started his own business in Michigan. So if you Google Matthews Bonfire Barbecue, he made his own sauce. We did Facebook marketing. He worked at Haywood Smokehouse for his internship. So you can see how the career and classes align with what they want to do. We had another student who she was told several times she couldn't work in a daycare. We were able to, she still works in a daycare, by the way, and that was like one of my first groups. But we were able to do independent studies with her, with our birth to kindergarten faculty who went in and worked with her in the daycare setting so that she could learn some of the strategies. So she is still continuing her long-term employment success at a daycare. We have some who are coming in with vision boards, which is great. It's amazing to see them planning. So they wanted a log house, they wanted a pickup truck, they wanted to work for the emergency management services. And so we were able to help modify his log cabin with some assistive technology through Simply Home. He does not have a live-in support, but on paper, everybody said he would never be able to do. And we kind of try to nix all of those myths as much as we can to put them. Now, I have some students who are like, I am happy washing dishes. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm like, okay. So we really do listen to the student voice and try to make sure we can guide them after that 2 years with the plan that they have in mind. And it's not that we have 115 employers and you have to go to that certain work site. Some people are like, I want to start my own car wash business. I was like, cool. So we were able to kind of look at that, not because we had 115 partners to go to for employment, but we were able to kind of work with facilities management and our carpool surplus and be able to start him there. And then he was able to go out and work in the community in the car wash kind of thing. So lots of different things that we look at. Their student voice is really what matters when we plan that process. So a lot of programs are kind of going that direction, but really look for those things as you're trying to find good fits for options.
Okay, that kind of changed my perspective a little bit. Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't know if that was in a good way, I hope, but
Yes, in a good way, because I had, I had two older ones and they've gone to college and done that route. And I was thinking she's going to community college right now. That's what our plan is. But now that lets me see that I need to explore these other programs that I put on the back burner and was going like, no, we're not going to do that. She's going to do this. And so now it's saying, okay, well, maybe she can and have some help exploring what she wants rather than, trying to
awesome.
put her in a box of what's available.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I see a cheerleader coming on there, Stephanie. Thank you so much, Kelly. And if you've got questions for Kelly or Kim and just now coming to them or think about them as we go, please put them in the chat box or at the end, feel free to turn your mic speaker on and ask the questions. That's what we're here for. Our next speaker is from Partners, and it's Caitlin Ritchie Lane. She's going to talk a little bit about the 1915I services.
Caitlin, I see you talking. I do not hear you though. I'm sorry.
Caitlin, if you want to maybe step out and then jump right back in, see if that resets it. We apologize for that, but we all know how technology sometimes drops on us all. We'll hold just a second.
I feel like I should always have a joke in my back pocket for moments like these, but I don't.
Why did the cat cross the road?
To
Because
get
the
to
chicken had
Galilee.
because the chicken had a laser pointer.
Hmm. I thought we were saying go cats, but
That is funny. A catamount. I love it.
My 10-year-old.
That tracks because 10-year-olds tend to be the funniest age group, I think, of people.
So Caitlin, we will probably see if you can send that information out, just being respectful of technology sometimes bites us. So we will send the information out on the 1959 as well. And maybe see if you can get it to work. But what we'll do right now is we're going to transition into talking briefly about the Registry of Unmet Needs. And hopefully I can make my screen share properly. Everybody see my screen? All right.
Yes.
So the Registry of Unmet Needs is a very important process and support to persons living with disabilities. As you can see, it is the wait list for Innovations Waiver. And I'm not going to read everything on here, but this is for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as in most counties, those with traumatic brain injury that happens before the age of 22. This is allocated through the General Assembly of North Carolina, and that's what creates the wait list for services. I'm not going to go into deep dive in terms of the Innovations Waiver, but the Innovations Waiver is a lifelong service for persons with disabilities in North Carolina. There are issues when someone steps out of North Carolina, but as long as you stay in North Carolina, the service does transition across the state of North Carolina. And when you get on the wait list in one county, transitions to the same place on the wait list in another county. Now, obviously, there will be some variance there based on how many people are on the wait list in any one particular county, but it's based on when you enter the wait list. And who is eligible? As I mentioned earlier, persons with a developmental disability, intellectual disability, or traumatic brain injury. People with substantial limitations in 3 of the 6 major life areas that are listed there. How do you apply? So if you can see the number there, it's 1-833-780-2587, or you can email us at the email listed there. Amber, if you could put that in the chat box. So what can you expect? Our specialists are available by phone, 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, to answer any questions you have, and we do have translations if you need that. What can you expect during that? The legal guardian or the person will schedule a screening assessment over the phone. Takes about an hour and a half. And that's what's needed to get on the registry of unmet needs. You'll be asked to send some documentation about the needs. And at that point, you're on the wait list. And you can see there the documents that will be needed for the registry of unmet needs. You need a psychological evaluation, adaptive testing, IEPs, assessments for voc rehab, medical records, and guardianship papers as appropriate. There are a lot of people on the waiting list. And as of now, the wait is approximately 10 years. And it's very important for persons to get on the wait list very early on. I know Kim and ECAC, as well as the CDSA, are huge advocates for getting on the waiting list as early as you can, because that makes it much easier for families. And you may be able to receive these services through the NC waiver while you wait for the NC waiver. This is what Caitlin was going to speak about, which is the Medicaid 1915 services. There's some supported employment, community navigator, respite available, as well as long-term community supports. And I'm going to switch here.
Jerry,
Yes.
Caitlin said she was able to call in, so I don't know if we want to have her try again.
All right, I'll finish up on this and then we'll turn it over to Caitlin, if that's okay. Caitlin, is that good with you? All right. And here is the paperwork, the brochure that Partners has created to help families that are interested in the registry of unmet needs. And basically, this is a roadmap. And you can see all the different pieces to it. The most important takeaway that I would have for anyone here is to look at that number and call that number, and they can answer all your questions regarding the Registry of Unmet Needs. 1-833-780-2587. At that point, all the things you see there will be taken care of when you speak with the registry specialist. And if you're interested in receiving that brochure, you can email us and we can send you those brochures for your use to distribute to more families. We want you to do that. Take that brochure, send it to as many families as you can. Are there any questions about the waiting list? All right, Caitlin.
Can you guys hear me now? Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen. I am the IDD Tailored Care Management manager for Partners. So I oversee the team of care managers that for all of the IDD care management, with the exception of Innovations, which is also a very large team. But as Jerry was speaking to, sometimes people get to us via the route of registry. Some of the information on our website about the Registry of Unmet Needs, not the registry itself, but the services that are available, is a little bit outdated. Can everybody see my screen? Okay. So I'm just going to briefly talk about the 1915I services that are available. These were previously referred to as the B3 services. So if you've heard that in the past, B3 services have now faded out and we have 1915I in place. So I'm just going to talk about that a little bit. I will say this presentation is also, like, it includes some of the information about the phasing in process with B3, which has now concluded. So a little bit outdated, but we'll just kind of skip over that part. The 1915I state plan amendment does provide opportunities for people with Medicaid to receive services in their own home or community rather than institutions. It enables Medicaid to provide services to more people while they wait, because eligibility for the innovations waiver is significantly limited. Each service has a little bit different eligibility criteria. So just depending on age and disability and that kind of thing will determine which services a member might be eligible for. So 1915I can support people with IDD as well as traumatic brain injury. And I know we are focusing on IDD today, but you can also have co-occurring mental illness or substance use disorders along with IDD. So some of those services that apply to those populations of people, some of those may co-occur and they may be available to members with IDD as well. So services under 1915I, we can provide respite relief for caregivers. We can provide employment support in integrated settings. We can also support independent living for people in the communities, and that can be in various settings. So that can be in a person's own home. It can be in a home that they're living in with their roommate, or it can be like they're still living in their family home. We can provide support across different settings to build those independent living skills. We can also help with the transition to an independent community setting. So a member currently lives in a residential setting like a group home or an alternative family living setting, or they live at home with their family and they want to move to living more independently and on their own. There's services under 1915I that can support that. There's also some financial support that can help with that startup cost of moving into the community. And there's services that can kind of help maintain someone in their home as well.
Here you can see who may be eligible for each service. So let's take a look at the grid. You can see the services listed down the left side.
So the 1915I services that are available, we have all of those listed. There are 5. And then you can see, depending on the disability and depending on ages, what different people are eligible for.
Here you can see
I'm not sure why it's not advancing. Okay, so the process for accessing 1959 services, the first step is really to contact your care manager. And if you don't have a care manager, you can call our member services or you can call our access line and let them know that you're interested in obtaining a care manager and interested in obtaining 1959 services. Once that care manager is established, and that care manager can actually fall under multiple agencies. We have external care management providers that provide care management services. We do have care managers under partners, and there's a few different ways that you can access, and that's really based on member choice. Once you are in contact with your care manager, you have completed the intake process, the care manager will complete an independent assessment and submit that to the state. That initial assessment typically takes about 15 minutes. It's really just to kind of assess the needs. What is 1915I going to be assisting this member with? We then send that assessment to the state, a state vendor, which is Carolyn, and they conduct an independent evaluation. And then once they determine if that person is eligible for 1915I, they send out a letter to let us know and let you know if the member is eligible for 1915I services. At that point, the care manager and the team, which includes the member, the family, and anybody who the member wants to include in their planning process, will get together to develop a care plan or an ISP. And then we can submit that completed plan to utilization management for prior authorization of the 1915I services. And then we will then follow up with service providers to ensure service delivery. The next few slides kind of just go into a little bit more of what I was just talking about, the independent assessment that we work through. I will say that assessment is redone at least once a year, annually, to make sure that the member needs remain the same, or if they've changed, we update that in the assessment and make sure that the member continues to be eligible for 1959 services. So at least annually, but it can be more than annually, depending on the member's needs. And I'm just gonna kind of skip through some of this because we've already talked about this. As part of the plan meeting, the care manager can really explain the service options, can really talk to the person about, hey, you know, these are the needs that you talked about during the 1959 assessment, and here's some services that might match those needs. Ultimately, which services are chosen, the frequency, the scheduling of those services, that's really up to the member's family and their care team. So it can be very individualized to make sure that we're meeting the member's needs in the way that they want their needs to be met. So the care manager is really the first key piece of accessing 1959 services, but also a care manager can assist with lots of other needs. So it doesn't have to just be 1959. If the member is looking for residential supports or a day program type supportive setting, we can assist with that as well. Reaching out and getting connected to a care manager can really help you work through, here's what the needs are, here's what's available, here's the resources, and we can really help with whole person needs. So not just these supportive services, but the 1959 services are definitely a great part of the benefits that can be available to our members with IDD, and it's more widely available to members versus what was available under B3 previously. And this can really help support members, especially members, as Jerry spoke about, the waiting list for innovations is really, really long, but these are some services that can help support in the meantime. If you do not have a care manager, again, you can call partners to connect to begin that process. And I have the numbers listed here. You can call either Access or you can call the care management department directly. They will, but again, you will be offered choice to various providers of care managers. So it doesn't have to be a partner's care manager. It can be, a partner with an external agency. We have a lot of external agencies that are providing care management. We have a lot of support that is happening with those agencies as well to make sure that, regardless of what your choice is, that you're being supported in the way that you need. Are there any questions about 1959 services or what care management can assist members with?
Caitlin, thank you so much for battling the technology bugs that got you. We greatly appreciate
Sorry
it.
about that.
Oh, life happens. Are there any questions again for Caitlin? If not, I do want to mention that if you're not sure how to connect, Partners has a member engagement team that is there to help link as well. And Amber has put that information into the chat box. One of our member engagement persons, Stacy, is on the call as well. So if you're not sure how to get there, then you can reach out to pretty much anyone from Partners, and we will connect you with our member engagement department that can link you to services. I do want to remind everyone that Spring Games is coming up across the state of North Carolina for most counties. The only ones I'm familiar with are the 3 counties I work with. But if you are aware of what's happening in other counties and when they are, please share that. Feel free to put it in the chat box and communicate that out and go support the athletes that'll be participating in the games. For Iredell County, it's April 1st and 2nd. For Yadkin County, it's April 4th. And for Surrey County, it's April 11th. Those are the three I know. Like I said, please share if you're aware of others that are coming up, or you can go to the state website and take a look there, and the link should be there. Any other questions about today's presentation? If not, I'm going to turn it over to Amber, who's going to close us out today.
Thank you to our speakers again. I am going to put our training calendar into the chat if you do not already receive that and are interested in any of our trainings that we offer virtually online for free every month. Also at the end of that link, there is a link for our community cafe. And next month on April 23rd at 10 a.m., we're going to be talking about Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We're going to have some speakers come in and talk specifically about services for adults and children who survived sexual assaults. And also we're going to be learning about the disproportionate sexual assaults among Native and Alaskan Natives, Native Americans and Alaskan Natives. So we look forward to seeing you then. And if there are no further questions, I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday and keep doing good work. Thank you.